Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kello Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's great to have you along this morning. Already nice little chit chat going on in the comments section. Everybody gets along here so well. All right. This issue of the auto pen and Joe Biden's use of the auto pen, he is reacting to this. And we're told this is a statement that came from the Biden team. Is it really a statement from Joe Biden? How do we know that he actually... I mean, I'm just asking questions. That's what I do. So he's saying, I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false. This is nothing more than a distraction by Donald Trump. They're working to push disastrous legislation. Oh, yeah. Get ready. Get ready. Here it comes. That would cut essential programs like Medicaid. False. False, not true. Excuse me. I think we're kind of used to Democrats, not being entirely honest with this. I think about some of those things. All the pay for tax breaks for the ultra wealthy big corporations. Really? Does, no tax on tips? Sound like that's going to help big corporations to you? I mean, no tax on overtime? How's that going to help big corporations? They're already paying overtime. All the federal government is saying is we're not going to tax that. I mean, this is such a loser. It's the same hysterical reaction from Democrats we hear all the time. So the president calling on the attorney general to open investigations into the use of the auto pen. Now get a load of this, because this is pretty crazy. The way that this is being reported on in the media, and I'll excuse me, I'm sorry. I want to show you. Presidents have used auto pens for decades. And now this is the Associated Press, AP News. Here's the Associated Press. They've used this for decades. And now Trump is objecting. What's the difference between Joe Biden and a lot of other presidents? His age. His age was the issue. And so now it's, we've used these for decades. Yeah, but we haven't had presidents as old as Joe Biden. And he wanted to run again. I mean, until he had that, were it not for that disastrous debate performance, he would have run. The guy would have run again. Can you imagine what a second term would have looked like? Whoa. Boy, did America dodge the bullet? And this just goes on. Associated Press. Oh, it's just ridiculous. So, and then I took a look at that story. Yeah, the presidents have used auto pens for decades. You know, what is an auto pen? For those of us who are stupid, what is it? I mean, why is it suddenly an issue? Joe Biden's age. That's why it's an issue. Did he know what he was signing? Or were others signing these things? I mean, where was that coming from? Don't tell us it's not an issue. This is what's so amazing. That's why I hate the media. The legacy media. I'm talking about the news media. The legacy news media. I mean, oh man, it's the same stuff over and over again. It's just absolutely incredible. So yes, I understand presidents have all used the auto pen. A number of them goes on. It's got a long history. We're using the auto pen. Okay. I understand that. Can we agree that in Joe Biden's case, it was different? That in Joe Biden's case, it was different. He was much older than any president we have had previously, with the exception of Trump, who is slightly then, a little bit younger than Joe Biden. But when it comes to mental acuity, I think all of us understand we age differently. I fear what I'm going to be like in it. Seriously. I feel how it is for me right now at times. So, but you wonder, we don't all age the same. How many times have we talked about this? That's the issue. Did you have White House staffers? And that's why I talked at length about Jake Tapper's book, Original Sin, this morning. I'm like into chapter 9, and I've got to tell you, it's blowing me away. Absolutely blowing me away. They were reducing the amount of time that the president would be in the office. They were reducing the amount of time, they were limiting his exposure to the media. They were limiting the number of press conferences. They were, they did a town hall, a 90-minute town hall, with hopes that of the 90 minutes, they were going to get enough footage that they would be able to create, some campaign commercials. They didn't use any of it. It was so bad that they didn't use any of it. And that happened more than once. I mean, so when you talk about Joe Biden and the auto pen, just given what Jake Tapper is reporting, I'm not a Jake Tapper fan. I kind of view Jake Tapper maybe a little bit like a stopped clock, right? That it's correct twice a day. So, right? So he's talking about, just because I disagree with him in a host of things and I don't like the way he's covered the news on a lot of occasions, doesn't mean what he's saying is wrong. And he's quoting all kinds of Democrats who were saying that they have loved ones, parents, as they were getting older, some of whom had dementia or Alzheimer's, so on, and they're dealing with this. And they were seeing those things in Joe Biden. And you have these people who are working with Biden every day. How could they be blind to what was going on? I don't think they were. What they were was power. They were power hungry as hell. They were just power hungry. So they saw that as because the president was in that state, they saw it as an opportunity for them to enact all this left-wing crap. Because Joe Biden was never that guy. He was more to the, he was left of center, but he was closer to the center than a lot of his staff. They were, and so some of them, I just think you get people that close to power and they grab it. Some people do. It's just absolutely crazy. So this whole thing about the auto pen, just absolutely amazing. I think we're going to wind up talking more about that. I'm glad to see that the president is calling for an investigation. Okay, we talked about this morning. Excuse me here. I keep telling them, no, knock it off. Oh, we'll go to full screen here. This is the president as he's talking about the the actions that he took yesterday and the travel restrictions. We talked about this on the air this morning. So this is about a 2.5-minute video that the president released yesterday. So let's take a look at this.
The recent terror attack in Boulder, Colorado, has underscored the extreme dangers posed to our country by the entry of foreign nationals who are not properly vetted, as well as those who come here as temporary visitors and overstay their visas. We don't want them. In the 21st century, we've seen one terror attack after another carried out by foreign visa overstayers from dangerous places all over the world. And thanks to Biden's open door policies, today there are millions and millions of these illegals who should not be in our country. In my first term, my powerful travel restrictions were one of our most successful policies, and they were a key part of preventing major foreign terror attacks on American soil. We will not let what happened in Europe happen to America. That's why on my first day back in office, I directed the Secretary of State to perform a security review of high-risk regions and make recommendations for where restrictions should be imposed. Among the national security threats their analysis considered are the large-scale presence of terrorists, failure to cooperate on visa security, inability to verify travelers' identities, inadequate record-keeping of criminal histories, and persistently high rates of illegal visa overstays, and other things. Very simply, we cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States. That is why today I am signing a new executive order placing travel restrictions on countries including Yemen, Somalia, Haiti, Libya, and numerous others. The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world. But we will not allow people to enter our country who wish to do us harm, and nothing will stop us from keeping America safe. Thank you very much.
So there you go. That was the president and the statement that he released. Forgive my phone in the background there. I'll just ignore that. So interesting. I appreciate some of the comments here. Steve is saying, remember when Trump did the travel ban on China? Democrats went to Chinatown. The COVID hit. I wonder what's coming this time. That's a great question. And Robert's asking, about some of these things. Again, the U.S. Supreme Court already ruled on the travel ban and the travel restrictions. That went to the U.S. Supreme Court the first time. So now you've got people filing suit again, and it's like, what? I mean, I can't imagine how far they'll get. We'll see. Okay, other stories I wanted to share with you this morning. Oh, ICE arrests. NBC News. This was yesterday. Immigration and Customs Enforcement made the most immigrant arrests in a single day in their history on Tuesday. They detained more than 2,200 people. So they'd been enrolled in, look at all of these federal programs. I mean, okay, under this program, this. It's just crazy what is going on in this country, I think. You look at all of this, an NBC News reporter saw 7 people who had come for check-ins at a New York City ICE office being let out in handcuffs, put into unmarked cars. I think that what has been going on in this country for so long, again, you and I have said this until we're blue in the face. You welcome people to come into the country. We're not isolationists. We want to welcome people into the country. You want them to play by the rules. There's a process to go through. And the Democrats keep telling us, oh, this immigration system is broken. And apparently their big solution is just let everybody in. You just let everybody in and you stop with the, what the hell kind of solution is that? I mean, that is the dumbest thing I ever. So you open the borders, you let people in, you give them court dates 20 years in the future. God knows if you'll ever see them again. And that's their prescription to fix the immigration problem in our country. There is no rational person who thinks that makes sense. Nobody does. So it's just absolutely incredible. This story has been out there throughout the week regarding Pete Hegseth ordering the Navy to remove Harvey Milk's name from a ship. And he ordered this at the beginning of Pride Month. The White House is not recognizing Pride Month. In fact, they are recognizing Title IX instead this month, instead of Pride Month. So you see they're reporting their CBS News, ABC News said, and a defense official said the decision was intentional and it was planned for the beginning of Pride Month. So you got California Governor Gavin Newsom. The rights cancel culture is at it again. He's referring to Pete Hegseth here. A cowardly act from a man desperate to distract us from his inability to lead the Pentagon. You know what Gavin Newsom can do with his words. So you've also got Nancy Pelosi responding to this, changing the name of the Harvey Milk and other ships, then shameful, vindictive. And this is interesting. So earlier this month, Town Hall covered how the U.S. Army will alter the records of transgender soldiers to show only their sex at birth. Additionally, the use of preferred pronouns would be done away with. So the military is through fooling around with this stuff. Again, if you want to do that, your time, however you identify, I'm very much in favor of liberty. So you make the choices that you need to make to be comfortable with yourself and who you are. I'm all in favor of that. The federal government, however, records, that's something altogether different, I think. So the Pentagon gave its final warning to transgender service members to leave on their own accord or they'll be pushed out, says Town Hall. But that story has been in the news over the course of this week. You likely have seen, I'm not spoken about it much, but that story has been trending. All right. Hold on. I got to reduce the size of my screen here a bit. I can't reach all my buttons. There we go, baby. Okay. There was one other thing I wanted to share. This is from Stephen Cruiser over at, I got to do that every time, man. A little frustrated here with my StreamYards. Okay, this is Stephen Cruiser at PJ Media, who's funny. He's funny. So he says, hear me out. Arrest all the Democrats. And he makes the case. So he says, he starts out here a bit off. One faithful reader, and he was talking about that he gets in a bit of a mood, and it made him ponder headlines that would trigger any lefties who might be trolling the site. One faithful reader asked for more of these moods from me. And I'm happy to report that yesterday's mood has yet to subside. Hence today's headline. And he said, again, it's only mostly tongue-in-cheek, talking about arresting all Democrats, but says, I've really had it with these people. The Democrats have never had much use for the rule of law. They pay lip service to it until their throats are hoarse. And for a long time, they would try to veil their contempt for that. The mask now has been ripped off to reveal the Constitution-loathing lizard beings underneath. No, I don't go this far, but I do find it funny. And he goes on to talk about Judge Gordon Gallagher, an appointee of Joe Biden, slamming the brakes on the Trump administration trying to deport the family of Mohammed Soleiman. This is the guy who was setting people on fire. He's accused of it, setting people on fire in Boulder, Colorado last week. And so once again, we're in the friend of my enemy territory when it comes to activist judges. Damn the innocent, save the dangerous is the guiding idea. Can't really be called the principle for these perverters of justice. They're openly hostile to every move that President Trump tries in his attempt to make the legal citizens of the country safer. And then he goes on to talk about Hakeem Jeffries. I mentioned this story briefly this morning, and I want to, in case you missed it, I want you to see all of what Hakeem Jeffries said. He was talking about ICE agents. And he said every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. He said, this is America. This is not the Soviet Union. Yeah, much to the chagrin of Hakeem Jeffries, I think. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will, of course, be identified. We're talking about law enforcement officers who are wearing masks for pretty good reason, right? These are undercover law enforcement officers working for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And he's out there, we're going to find out who these people. I mean, I don't know who decided that, the Democrat Party need to start talking like nut jobs all of the time, but wow. And you think, I have told myself many times, can't get worse. This cannot get worse. And it gets worse. It just keeps getting worse. And wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. What is it about people who respond to that positively? I mean, yeah, Hakeem Jeffries, all right, let's go. I mean, what kind of insanity is this stuff? It's just absolutely incredible. So I watched that, and I'm just like, man, I feel like somebody just, hit me right between the eyes with a baseball bat when they're talking so stupidly as that. These are Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers or law enforcement officers. Of course, they're hiding their identities, especially given the way they're treated by the Democrats, given the way they're treated by the legacy media. Why wouldn't you want to? And then sometimes legitimately they're working undercover. They don't want their faces to be seen. They don't want to put their families at risk. This is just craziness. And we're seeing it on a level that I've never seen it in my lifetime. It's just absolutely wild. All right, that's a wrap. You made it to the end of the video. So you are part of my gallery of champions. Thank you very much. Also, special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Appreciate all your comments each and every day. Thank you so much for being here. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Until then, I'm underground and gone.